Long way to go, though.
Exactly right. We've been down 2-0 before.
That's right. Cardinals tore it up. That's a good way to put it. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Could have come in, see the free food, dogging people.
Exactly.
Talk about your JV officiating.
You did, not me.
All right, we're good.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Hard-fought win on Saturday. Tremendous environment, great atmosphere. It was nothing came easy, that's for sure. Talked to the guys about that at length yesterday, about the resolve and toughness and grit that we showed for 60 minutes. I think our guys knew going in it was going to be a fist fight, and everything was going to be difficult to get. And so pleased with how we handled, the first half. I think we got outplayed and had a 7-6 lead. We weren't stopping them on defense until they got in the red zone, and then we were able to get some good stops, which we talked about. And I thought they did some really good things against us defensively. And then at halftime, made some adjustments. But biggest thing is we needed to get off the field on defense and try to stay on the field on offense. We were able to do that. Didn't capitalize with a lot of points, but we were able to get the one field goal with Chris and hold those guys a couple times when they got into our territory. So great credit to our players for staying the course for 4 quarters. We got beat up pretty good from the game. Just injury report, we'd have a handful of guys that would probably be questionable if it were a game this Saturday, but nobody that got injured on Saturday would be out significant amount of time. I think the closest guy would be Khalid, but we would envision everybody practicing, probably not this week, but next week for sure. We didn't lose anybody long term.
How much of this week is spent on development and just healing guys' bodies? And putting them right?
A bunch of it. Yesterday, we had a development practice, working a lot of guys on special teams, some kids that haven't played yet, some other guys that are in the 2 deep, but more specifically special teams guys. And then we're taking the young players, mostly the freshmen and first or second year guys, and doing some K-State versus K-State team. Get those guys away from the scout cards and get them back to our schemes offensively and defensively. We'll do that quite a bit today and tomorrow. We'll do a little bit of TCU here in the next couple days as well.
What kind of luxury is it to be able to play press on both corners, like you did on Saturday?
You know, that was not really the plan going in because of all the motions and shifts that Iowa State gives you. And we gave up a couple of what we would call easy access throws early on, and so we made an adjustment to go to more press with Echo and Julius, and we definitely did. We pressured more on Saturday than we have in previous games, and a lot of that was out of necessity because of the shorter routes, the crossing routes, and some of the routes that were at the sticks of trying to play tighter coverage.
Chris, DJ had an interesting thing to say after the game. Somebody asked him if he imagined he'd be doing this right now, and he said, no, actually, because y'all entered the recruiting picture with him so late in the process.
Yeah.
You didn't know if it would happen. Can you enlighten us on how you guys connected there?
Well, so much respect for Junction City, what Coach Zim does in the program, and we had tracked DJ, and I'd been able to see him play just because of Colby being at Manhattan when Colby was a little bit younger, and so I was really impressed with DJ, and we did enter it pretty late, but always were impressed with him as a player, and we were able to get him late in the process, and like I said, last year I thought he had a good development year, but probably wasn't ready this year. Even though we have Deuce, we knew that he would continue to progress and get better and better. And you saw in practice in fall camp when we'd sit Deuce a lot, the pop in him, the explosiveness, his ability to run through contact. And so it was just a matter of maybe time or circumstance that he would get an opportunity. He was, by Missouri probably the clear number 2 for us. And so, Deuce got dinged up a little bit, and he did some really good things. And so we've got to find some ways to continue to get him on the field and get him some touches.
How's your progression from the wide receiver room gone?
It's gone well. The 3 guys are the mainstays right now. Keenan played a little bit more on Saturday, which is good because he had a really good week of practice. And so we're excited about him. RJ's been kind of dinged up a little bit, but been playing him and doing some good things with RJ. We've got great confidence in him. Xavier Lloyd's continuing to improve. Jaden Jackson's continuing to learn our system. So we have some guys that are pushing those 3 top guys, but we still like our development and growth there, and think not only this year, but the future's bright there.
How would you assess the play of your offensive line for the first half of the season?
It's been good. It's we lost TP so early, and so it kind of put us into a spot where we had to play Hadley because we wanted to play Hadley a little bit more at center. And fortunately for us, Gilly's playing so well that we haven't really worried about pushing him back into center. We've kept him at guard to replace TP. I'm excited to get Line Gang back. He missed some time, so he's getting back into the practice mode, and he's kind of our swing guy. And Carver is the swing guy at tackle, more at right tackle than anywhere, but could play left tackle. So, and then Dawson Delforge has come on a little bit, but I've been, BB's a great player and is an all-conference player. KT's playing really well. Duff's playing well, but I think the guy that's been most impressive to me is Gilly, just because he hasn't played that many snaps prior to this year, and he's really done a great job with communication as well as just his play, and it's allowed Hadley to get more reps at guard and get him more comfortable.
I know you mentioned DJ as a guy that you maybe want to see more out of in the second half of the season. Is there anyone else that kind of jumps off the page that you want to work on with the bye week?
Des Purnell, and once again, you always have to prepare for your opportunity and don't let your circumstance dictate how you prepare for that opportunity. And he knew he was the backup behind Khalid, but we always talk about being a play away from having to take significant snaps. And Khalid goes down in really the second or third play of the game, and Dez has got to play pretty much every snap. We went to nickel a couple of times when he came out, but if not, he played over 50 snaps and did some really good things. I think he was trying to feel his way through, and then he realized that, you know what, I'm good enough. I can play at this level, and we talked to him about it. Nick Allen was great with him on the sideline. Nick was challenging the heck out of him, but that's Nick. Nick's a great leader, and I was challenging him, and Devin and Steve were challenging him, and he rose up. He made some really good plays. So pleased with where Dez is at, and he's a guy that we're going to continue to push. The defensive line rotation, we still got to find more plays probably for Uso, because I think he's progressing well enough that we got to get him some more snaps. It'll probably help Eli out. Stufflemean made a couple really good plays when he was in there. Mott's playing well. That was as healthy as Nate has been all season. So this week will come at a great time for Nate to get his body back, because we're going to need him moving forward. So just with the defensive line, I think the rotations have helped us, but some of the guys will probably even out some of those reps.
Now that you're approaching the back half of the season, do you start to look at some of the guys that you plan on redshirting?
Yeah, but we look at that all the time, Fitz. There's some guys that you've seen early in the season that we've kind of held back on now because they've played a couple of games and don't want to put a guy in, not necessarily for mop-up duty, but for a play here or there that could cost him that game. There's really no mop-up duty right now in our league, so it's just trying to – and it's harder on the road, because anybody you take on the road, you have to be willing to play because of injuries, and you don't have that depth. And it came into play this weekend. Jack Bloomer, who's our backup punter, played some snaps on punt return, and Jack's been playing or being involved in the drill work so much that he knows all the techniques, and we trust Jack, so we put him in there. But there are still a handful of guys that are right around that 2 and 3 game stretch that you never know. Let's say Dez were a guy and he's not, but all of a sudden you get a guy hurt. Well, that guy's got to be ready to step in and play, and that's the hard thing about managing the roster and managing playing time and managing people is, how much is enough where you feel like they're getting a good use out of the year, but it's all still about the team and what we have to do to make sure the team is successful.
To follow up to that, you've made it halfway through the year without having to play Will Howard.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, would you like to play in 4 games?
Yeah.
And get redshirted?
Let's just say we'd like to get the red shirt. I can't tell you on the games because it's so different. You just don't know how things are playing out, and we're so pleased with Adrian right now and how he's grown. And I think you guys can all see in different ways. And I told him this. I thought he played his best game on Saturday. He did some unbelievable things against Oklahoma, did some unbelievable things against Texas Tech. But just when he had to make a play for us on Saturday, he made the play, made the plays. He got us out of some really bad situations with changing calls. He just, in that environment, in a tight ball game, he was so calm. I thought he played a phenomenal game. And so, if Adrian can stay healthy and it plays itself out, I don't know how much Jake or Will be in there, but we'd like to preserve Will's year.
Coach, Josh Hayes, Big 12 defense
Yeah.
player of the league. You were with him at North Dakota State. Just how much has he meant to you and to this team?
Well, I've known him for a long time, and known his parents for a long time, and have had a couple of home visits with him. But he's been every bit as good as we thought he would be and knew he could be. Really proud of Josh for coming in here and making a name for himself, but not being overbearing as far as thinking it's his team or anything like that. He just fit in with our guys really well. He's been a corner his whole life. And about 3 days into spring practice, 4 days into spring practice, we said, Josh, we need you to play safety. And I thought it would help him for his ability to play at the next level if he played something more than just corner. And whether he's a nickel, whether he's a safety at the next level, I think he's proving that he can play at the next level. I've always known it. I think Josh has always known he has the ability, but I think the skill set that we're putting him in now is really showcasing his talents. And he's a very physical player. He's a very talented player. He's a very smart football player. And there's something about a guy that loves football like that. And Josh is a football junkie and loves to compete. And, I think Iowa State tried to match him up a few times with 8, thinking they could get a safety on him, which is the smart thing to do. But Josh has got such good corner skills that he was able to make some big plays.
And then on Sunday, Skylar Thompson makes his NFL debut. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that game. Have you had a chance to talk with him about it?
Yeah, we texted back and forth on Sunday night or Monday morning. I can't remember just how proud I was of him handling the circumstance, handling the environment. I watched just a little bit of it back and forth, but I just was impressed with he just seemed calm. He seemed like he belonged, and I just thought he did a great job of handling the circumstance of not knowing you're going to play. I didn't see when the other quarterback got hurt, so I didn't know what the plan was, if he was going to play or not. But I got the text like probably everybody else did in our football office that he was in the game, and so tried to find it and was able to follow him a decent amount. And I know that he was happy that he got a chance and got his feet wet, and who knows what's going to happen in the future there, but excited for him. It was a big moment for him.
And then 4 guys you've coached: Easton Stick, Carson Wentz, Trey Lance, Skylar Thompson, all are on NFL roster.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's any other college coach that has that number of quarterbacks in the NFL. What is the secret sauce with this kind of quarterbacks?
I didn't know. I don't know how many of I know those four guys, but I don't know how many other coaches. It's a credit to those players. It's not me. It's a credit to those players. It's a credit to the Colin Kleins and the Randy Hedbergs that developed these guys and coached the heck out of them and prepared them. And for me, it was just believing in them more than anything. And I know that from a vantage point of a defensive-minded head coach. Letting a quarterback know how much you believe in them is very, very important. And loved all those kids, told them I loved them, believed in them, and they have God-given ability. And then the QB coaches they've had have been really good.
TV, excuse me, TV cameras caught your and Gian's celebration
Yeah.
after that last first down. Was that anything more than just relief and excitement after a close fought, hard-fought win?
I grew up in Iowa and had a lot of family there. I know how hard it is to win in Ames, Iowa, and been at Ames at night on a number of occasions as an assistant. And to play at Ames at night in that environment, and it was a great environment, it was a big win for our team. And a couple of guys sent me texts that I trust in the profession and trust, and just said, you know what, it's okay to enjoy a big win, and appreciate you showing the emotion. And it was a big win at the right time coming into a bye week, and knowing that guys like Deuce were out, Felix was out, Khalid was out, DJ's making plays, and Des Purnell's making plays. It wasn't easy, and people talk about ugly wins and stuff. I think it still counts as a win, and that's all that really matters. It was a big night for K-State football.
Coach, I think you're about halfway through the first year with Colin as your offensive coordinator. Thinking back to when you made the decision to hire him as your offensive coordinator, can you explain what kind of things you were looking for, maybe stylistically, schematically, with him taking over that position?
What you're seeing is what I thought, as far as mixing up tempos and mixing up formations and getting the best 11 guys on the field at a number of different times. And when you go on the road and the crowd's really into it, and you're able to go fast, you're able to slow it down when you need to, you're able to have different cadences, it creates problems for a defense. It creates a problem for us. I know that. It creates it at home, especially when people go fast on you. And so the style that Colin and I spoke about when we were together last December for a while on the road is what I envisioned we were going to do. I think we're still, 6 games into it, Colin would say the same thing. We're still growing as an offense. We're still learning as an offense. I think our best football is still ahead of us as an offense. The thing that probably excited us as coaches, and even our players when we met here yesterday, is we still haven't played our best football. And we are playing as hard as any team I've ever been associated with. Our kids lay it on the line every Saturday and play their tails off. We're making some mental errors on both sides and on special teams that we need to clean up. And so this is a big week for us to clean some of those errors up. And some of it is focus, and some of it is the environment and the pressure and all those things. But we need to just clean up some of those mental errors and continue to play as hard as we are. And then I can live with the results, because those kids are laying it out there every Saturday.
And to continue that, what areas of Colin's progression through these first 6 games has really impressed you from the head coach's perspective?
Just his ability to mix things up, run and pass and tempo and not tempo, and just trying to get the playmakers the ball, everything. Once again, we're 6 games into it, but I'm excited about the progress we've made, and I know there's continued growth there.
You talked about with Khalid at Sam linebacker, you wanted to get a little more size in there, but now Des, I think, is listed at 215
Yeah.
pounds. Are you using him differently, or do you have anybody else?
Yeah, we haven't kind of dug into that yet as far as what we would do. because Khalid's not ruled out by any means for TCU. There's a good chance he can play at TCU. So we're going to go through this week because it's such a development week for us and not worry about the schematics of how we're going to change things because Khalid doesn't have a long-term injury. But Dez, we didn't change the game plan. Dez blitzed a decent amount. Dez was on the line of scrimmage, and he's not as big. There's no question about that. But he's productive and he's instinctive inside there. So we'll continue to evaluate that as we learn more about Khalid, as well as we'll probably move. Crew Jackson will get more reps. Jake Clifton, who's been in between Sam and Will play some more Sam as well.
Could Deuce have finished out that game if you needed him to?
No, he could not.
Okay, so he definitely needs a little bit of rest.
Yep.
Silly one for you. You guys have had quite a good run of luck at the coin toss lately.
Yeah.
What's your strategy there?
You'd have to ask those captains out there because we talk about it all the time of what we're going to do. And that's kind of the big joke is what do I want to do this week? Because it's changed quite a bit. And so Kate and I kind of laugh about it. And Kate hasn't been out there for all of them, but it's kind of like, okay, what are you thinking? And I know he's excited when I say, oh, I want to take the ball. And I think he kind of turns away from me when I say, oh, I want to defer. But there's a lot of things that play into it every game. And for whatever reason, I don't know who's called it. If you ask me of the 6 games, who's called it each time, I don't have any idea. But they're on a hot streak, I think, right now. I don't know how many we have won. All of them. All 6. Wow, that's pretty good. So, and I don't know how many times we've taken the ball. 3 or 4. Okay. See, nobody really knows. That's good. Exactly right.
I did have one other kind of off-the-wall question. When you and other coaches are off, looking at Friday games, the night before a road game, logistically, how do you guys all get back to that same location in time?
Help. Great donor support here. For me, it was last week. And if it's a home game, we usually are out. Coordinators won't ever go out. They're always staying back here with the guys. And typically we always have, 1 or 2 assistants back as well. It was just Coach Anderson and I out here last week, and Coach Stander was out in Iowa. But, Taylor Bratt and his staff, they do a good job of, facilitating, places to go that we can get back. The other thing that plays into it is the late start. Playing at 6:30 or 7 is a lot easier to do that than playing at 11. It's really hard. I don't think we had anybody out for Texas Tech. It's just too hard when you're playing at 11. And so, every week we kind of evaluate it based on the game time.
What was the explanation you got on the running into versus roughing?
We sent it in, and I have not gotten word back of what they saw. The official came over to me and said he did not think he hit his plant leg, and so that's what I think of as the rule is if they hit the kicking leg, it's typically running into if they go into the plant leg, and I haven't received anything back yet.
Anybody else? Got one?
I had something.
Anything else? Good, all right, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Will you watch TCU OSU or just watch cutouts?
I'll be at Kansas Wesleyan and McPherson, so I will not be watching the Pokes play.
Preston, we're done.
Preston, you can go back to the.
She was, I looked up.